Hi everyone, this is Novo from UC Berkeley, IR190G, and this is the fourth video in a series of videos about patent US7069055, which is displaying local times on mobile devices. Samsung is claiming that Apple is infringing on this patent, so this week I will talk about how Apple might be able to defend itself against Samsung. A quick recap about this patent. This patent's title is actually Mobile Telephone Capable of Displaying World Time and Methods for Controlling the Same. It was filed in 1998, issued in 2006, and Samsung is claiming that Apple's iPhones and iPads and iPod are infringing on this patent. In Claim 1 of the patent, Samsung patents an apparatus for calculating and displaying time in multiple cities by receiving reference time from a remote system, how long it has been since that reference signal was received, and doing some math with GMTs to get times in different cities. Here's claim 1 in its entirety, but I will focus on two elements out of this claim. So element 1 says means for storing Greenwich Mean Time information for each of a plurality of cities. So the keyword here is Greenwich Mean Time. The fourth element states means for selecting at least one of said plurality of cities and automatically calculating a local time of said selected city, said local time being based on a difference between the GMT of said selected city and the GMT of a present location of said apparatus, said reference time, and said elapsed time. So here, this whole calculation is also based on GMT information. So back to the overview, it's pretty clear that Apple probably gets a reference time from the remote system because it's how it's going to sync its time. Then it will count how long it's been since the reference time to say what time it is now. But in terms of actually calculating, maybe it's not using GMT, then it might be able to say, well, we're not infringing on the patent. So what Apple could try to do to circumvent this patent is to use something other than GMT as a reference point. So instead of calling GMT Greenwich Mean Time 0, maybe you can call Pacific Standard Time 0. Then Honolulu, instead of being -10, would be -2, and other cities would change. So this is just changing the 0 reference point. So maybe this isn't different enough, and then they can try something a little bit more complicated. So instead of having any negative times, they would use all positive times and then subtract days. So Honolulu would be plus 22 hours minus 1 day. Although this would not use GMT, it's possible that the courts will not allow this to be used as a reason that Apple's not infringing on this patent because it's very similar. There are several other things that Apple can do which can invalidate the patent instead of saying their product doesn't infringe on the patent. So they can try to find prior art from before 1997, and claim 1 does not specify mobile, so it doesn't have to be a mobile device. Maybe they can find a computer that was available on market, maybe very expensive, but available on market. There's also only one inventor listed on the patent, so maybe they can try to find another inventor and then track him down, get licensing. But this is belonging to Samsung. It was developed in Korea, so it would be kind of hard to actually get this done, especially since this patent was filed 14 years ago almost now. Last thing is they can claim that this method is pretty trivial because people have done this for so many years. And I think that's a valid reason, but probably because this patent was already granted, it probably won't be a valid reason. So in conclusion, even though I try to argue how Apple might not be infringing on this patent, I still think they are, and it is a very difficult patent to try to invalidate. It's also very likely that many other products from other manufacturers are infringing on this patent, but Samsung's on the Android camp, so it's friends with other manufacturers for the moment. So for now, Apple's the only one being sued. So that's it for this week. I hope you learned something new, and I will make another video next week.